Hello everyone. In this video, I want to talk about some other aspects of regression that we did not discuss in the last two videos. So I'm going to start by taking a look at how does regression really works and what are some of the steps that you need to keep in mind when working on this technique. So let's get started. So essentially, the first thing that we will do is we will develop a mathematical equation. So essentially a formula, okay, that will tell you that what is the value of y given the value of x variables. Let's talk about a few examples. So if predicted sales, let's say this is your y variable, and you want to express it as a function of a couple of other factors, such as the effectiveness of the salesman, the product features, the time of the year, the advertising investment, etc. So so basically, you see, we have expressed the sales as a function of other X factors. Now, similarly, if you wanted to predict the customer spending on a credit card, then you can express it as a function of customers' past spending, the income, the potential, the spending potential of a person, and the past usage of the credit card. So you see that what we've done is we've actually come up with a mathematical equation, and that's the first thing that we do after after we've derived that mathematical equation, then we analyze it to understand the patterns or the relationships and the degree to which the x variables are related to y. And then we examine how well the equation describes the relationship. So this is very important. The third step for any analytical technique, after you finish working on the analysis, you want to understand how well does your results, or in other words, your model, how well does it describe the relationship, or is it good enough, or maybe you need to iterate if your results are not that satisfactory. So those are the three things that we do when we come up with regression. Now let's talk about a specific type of regression, which is called as the simple linear regression. So when we say simple linear regression, essentially the word simple is telling you that there is only one explanatory variables. Or in other words, we are only interested in finding out the relationship of y with a single variable of interest, that is x. Now, x is basically your independent variable, and we come up with this equation. You might have already seen this. This is basically the equation of a straight line. So y is a function of x, a plus bx plus the error term. Now this error term is basically symbolic, and we actually don't write it down in the equation. Now you know from your concepts in math that in this equation a is the intercept and b is the slope. So let's understand that what does this b really mean, because it has a very important interpretation when it comes to regression equations. Now the coefficient or the slope b is also sometimes it's known as the beta coefficient, okay, or the slope. So what happens is that, let's take this example. Now let's say your maximum pulse, which is a measure of your fitness, is your y variable or the target variable, and you have your x variable, which is your age. Now we collected this data, and these are the data points that we plotted. This is a single data point which tells you that what is the pulse given the age, and then we drew this line, which is your regression line. So here, the green line that is drawn here is your regression line. Now, what really happens is that the beta or the slope, it tells you that when age increases by 1 unit, what happens to the maximum pulse. So if the slope is beta, let's say, then we say that when age increases by 1 unit, then the y variable or the maximum pulse in this example, it changes or it increases by beta units. Now, if the sign is negative, so let's say the slope is -3. So what that would mean is that When age changes by 1 unit, the maximum pulse reduces by 3 units. So that's how you interpret the beta coefficient. Okay. So this is very important, and we are going to extend this definition when we are talking about multiple linear regression. So let's continue with this. Now I'm going to talk about something very important, which is how do you find out the line of best fit? Okay, the line of best fit. So why do we need to find out the line of best fit? Let's try to understand that again. Now see, in this example, these are the data points that we had. Each of these points is a data point, and if I gave you this data to all of the students here, definitely you can come up with a lot of different lines. So when there are so many lines that can be drawn over through a data to describe it, then that those all of those cannot be regression lines, right? So the regression line is a unique line that characterizes the relationship, and in order to find that regression line, we need to find out what is called as the line of best fit. So what do we mean by best fit, and how do we measure that? Let's talk about that. Now basically, a line of best fit is the one that minimizes the error of the estimated points. There are a few things to note here. A good fit minimizes the error of estimated points on the line and the actual points used to draw it. So what we're saying is that in this example, if you think about it, these red points are the points that, let's say, we have to explain. And suppose we drew this line through the through the points to describe the relationship. Now we know that these represent the error. Now the error is the difference in the real value, which is here, but the value is estimated by this particular point on the line. So this is the error. Okay. Another example, if you have this estimation for this observed point, then this is the error. Similarly, these are all errors. So how should we aggregate the errors such that they help us find out the line of best fit? So let's look at this curve here, this example here, and this example here, and let's compare these. Okay. Now, if I ask you to add up the total error, this is basically 0. So 2 plus 2 minus 4, that is 0. And similarly, 6 and minus 4 and minus 2 is also 0. So if we were to just find out the errors like that, these are, by the way, also known as residuals. And if we just take the total of that, then the negative and positive will cancel each other, and the aggregated error will not give us the true picture. So right now, as you saw, the total error was 0, but that is far from the truth. So this is not a good way to estimate the total error. Let's look at some other options. So in the other option, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to get rid of the signs and see what happens. So sum the absolute errors. So what I did in these two examples, I just take the absolute error. So even if it is -1, I'm just going to assume it's 1. So I'm going to take the mod of these. So the total error here will be 4, and the total error here will be 5. But if you really think about it, this line, because it's less total error, then so we said this is 4 and we said this is 5. So 4 is less than 5, but this line is not necessarily, it's not better than the other line. And let me tell you why. Because in this particular estimation, we have this one point which is which has a huge residual value. Whereas if you look at this particular line, then the absolute errors are not that much. Okay. So what this really means is that we want to penalize higher value of error. So we want to penalize, which means that if whenever we have a high residual value, we want to assign a penalty to that. So we don't want to use this way of aggregating error as well. So let's see which is the other way of doing this. So the other way of doing this is what is known as the the famous sum of square method. So basically, this is the method of least squares. So what we will do is we will square the errors and then we will add them. So that's going to penalize the magnitude of large errors. So wherever you have a large error, when you take the square of it, it becomes even larger proportionally. And that is why we take the squares and we add them. And when we create this total error, which represents the sum of squared errors, and we minimize that, that gives us the line of best fit. So that is the meaning of the line of best fit. So what I've discussed here is that given that there could be many ways in which we could aggregate total error, we use the method of least squares to find out the total error and minimize that. And that will give us the unique line, the unique regression line, which is also called as the line of best fit. So uh, I'm going to end the video here and I will continue in the next video.